I'm Josh Fischer. Today I'm going to be talking with you about modern retail and how Acumatica helps solve the challenges of modern retail. We're going to dive into how retailers are using Acumatica today. Just touch on that a little bit. But what I really want to focus on is the disruptions that are happening in the retail space. I want to talk about this possibly in a way that you haven't thought about it before. We'll dive into more of that in a minute. But then I'm going to wrap up by talking about how Acumatica is focused on helping retailers navigate these disruptive waters. It's very poetic, isn't it? It's very true, though. Retail is going through a lot, and it's tough. And what we found is that retailers that adopt Acumatica's back office solutions, it stabilizes them. And we've seen businesses scale pretty rapidly after adopting the back office solution. I have my chat window open. So as I'm speaking, don't hesitate to post a question or even add to what it is that I'm saying. Don't feel like you can't interrupt me. Okay. So I would actually be very interested in your feedback or thoughts that are coming from the audience. And let's go ahead and get started. Here. Sorry, it wasn't progressing. Okay, I'm Josh Fischer. I'm the director of product for Retail Edition at Acumatica. A little bit about me. So I've been in the retail / e-commerce space for well over a decade now. I was telling somebody yesterday that I built my first website in 1995, and I fell in love with the internet and everything that it was capable of at a young age. And in college, I studied new media. Around 2008, 2009, I started a web agency building out websites for large national brands and e-commerce brands and a few nonprofits. And then in 2012, I met a team of, I met an ERP company, and they introduced me to the fact that e-commerce systems don't integrate well with ERPs. This is in 2012. It was a challenge. I started digging into that challenge, and it occurred to me that an ERP is like the foundation of a business. And if these e-commerce systems don't integrate with the ERP systems, that was going to put a lot of brands in a very bad situation in the future. So from my perspective, it was inevitable that this problem had to be solved. So in 2012, that's when I got started on this challenge. I joined Acumatica in 2018 and took those years of experience I had integrating e-commerce systems with ERPs. I came to Acumatica and I was very excited. I mean, Acumatica's technology is outstanding. The API is outstanding. Very intuitive, forward-thinking system. And everything I wanted to accomplish, I felt like I could accomplish with Acumatica's system. And we have, I mean, we've really pulled it off. It's been 5 years now. And, you know, when I hear customers tell me that they're scaling as rapidly as they are, they're able to take on new sales channels, they're shipping orders faster than they ever have been before. Some of these are, you know, traditional retailers. Some of them are digital native brands that regularly sell hundreds of thousands of orders a month. And thanks to Acumatica, they're able to fulfill quickly, build relationships with the customers. That's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how this back office solution helps the retailers, not just with financials and not just with order management, but with the most important thing to retailers, which is customer experience. So that's what I'm going to really dive into. So Acumatica is a cloud ERP. I would imagine most of the folks on the call are familiar with Acumatica. But what's really special about it, obviously it works in the browser, obviously it works on your mobile devices and your iPad or your tablet. Um, but the one thing that we don't talk about very much is just how thorough and robust the API is. So we're the only ERP that was founded in this century, right? And the reason that's important is because API technology surfaced in this century. So the idea of connecting all these different systems together in the internet, that's still a pretty new idea. And cloud technology and APIs became popular right around 2006, 2007. That's when the terminology started to surface. And 2008 is when Acumatica was founded. And it was founded specifically so that businesses could use this platform and integrate it with all the other important business applications that they needed. So it was very much an API first um, company from the beginning. And the reason that's important for today's session is because retailers, especially, rely on many different external systems that operate online. And those systems need to be integrated with the ERP so that they can run efficiently. Um, and that's what we do best. When I talk to retailers about ERP, though, it's not a very common term in the retail space. Um, ERP is definitely known in the space, but a lot of times retailers think of ERP as the thing that businesses use, like Coca-Cola uses it to manage their global enterprise, or Nike uses it. And really, we're trying to build an ERP that the mid-market and even small businesses can afford and can use to help them grow. What I've found is retailers talk about it as retail management systems or retail back office solutions, which both of those terms are totally appropriate. Now, like I said before, a retailer's primary focus is customer experience. Like obviously back office, financials, inventory management, all of those things are very important to a retailer. But whether you're talking about a traditional brick and mortar retailer or a modern retail brand, the number one priority that they have is optimizing customer experience. That's going to be a very important point as we progress through this today. Retailers have two areas of their business they have to think about. They have to think about the front office, which is primarily how they create those customer experiences. The front office being their retail locations and the look and feel, the atmosphere in those locations, the maybe their website, maybe how easy it is to find their products online through search engine optimization. They're focused on things like media, content, photography, videography. All of those pieces benefit the customer's experience in the long run. My argument is that the back office solution benefits the customer experience as well, right? If everything in the front office is helping the retailer get to the conversion point, right? They're attracting the customer in, they're selling them on a product, and then the customer buys. The back office is what ensures that the retailer's promise is seen through. The back office is where the inventory is managed. It's where the fulfillment happens. It's where the orders are managed. Um, if you're a customer and you buy a product and you pay extra for overnight shipping, the back office is what makes sure that that package arrives on the customer's doorstep the next day through, hopefully, through automation and very efficient systems. So keep in mind that back office is Acumatica. The front office is a myriad of applications. And today, modern retail, it's very distributed. You hear this term omni-channel a lot. And really what this means is that retail is not those physical stores anymore. Retail is many different things. And in order for retailers to be successful, they need a foundation that's solid. They need one back office solution that can do everything that the back office needs and integrates with all of those external systems that they use for the customer experience. I could wrap that up by saying modern retailers require a commerce-enabled ERP. So let's talk about the disruption that's happening in the retail space. Sorry, there's a note here. Okay, I think I can keep going. In the retail space, there's a lot of disruption. We actually take this for granted. You know, if you pick up a Forbes magazine, you'll hear about disruption that Airbnb is creating in the hotel industry. You'll hear about disruption that Tesla is creating in the car industry. But other than articles about Amazon and some of these big e-commerce players, you don't really read about the disruption in retail. We all know that it's happening, but I really think we take it for granted as consumers. And that's what I want to focus on here. Let me talk you through this just to help articulate how disruptive the retail space has been. Just need my clicker to work. There we go. So first of all, what is retail? If you think about it, the definition of retail is not as obvious today as it used to be. If you were around the age of 20 at the turn of the century, then the pictures that you see here are likely what you think of whenever you hear the word retail. You think about going to physical stores, you think about going to the mall, going to department stores. That in-store experience is what is standard, right? Today, however, and if you were, let's say, born around the turn of the century, the term retail has a totally different meaning. Retail is not locked into a physical location. Retail is simply a business that's selling to consumers. Retail is me as a consumer buying from an organization. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do that today. You have retail that's covers online marketplaces, e-commerce, and brick and mortar, and we're continuing to see even more changes. What we've seen through this disruption is we've seen a lot of department stores start to become online, omni-channel marketplaces, right? Walmart is a great example of this. You can go to walmart.com, you can buy a product, and then go to a Walmart store and pick it up. These department stores, Macy's and Home Depot and Target here as examples, they have just as much of a presence online as they do in physical locations now. And I would argue that they're probably engaging with customers more online today than they even did in the past inside their stores. And this is creating a lot of new forms of engagement between the consumer and the retailer. Things like buy online, pick up in store, last mile delivery. The fact that you can go to walmart.com today, you could buy a product and have it delivered to your house within 2 hours if you needed it. Like if you were running out of Diet Coke, you're really in need of Diet Coke, they would bring it to you within 2 hours. And as consumers, we have been accepting of that, and we are now used to it, right? We kind of take it for granted. We've been somewhat spoiled by these changes, and I think that's why we don't hear so much about the disruption, because we don't see it as a disruption. It's just change that's happening rapidly, but we're adapting to it quickly. In addition to those traditional department stores, we also have digital native online marketplaces. Wayfair, eBay, Chewy, Newegg. These are all examples of online department stores that surface. Now, these stores, they're selling just like Walmart and Home Depot. They're selling products that they acquire through vendors, right? But you know, for instance, Wayfair, it's a platform. It's really a platform that connects buyers and sellers in a digital format. And these brands have grown rapidly, very rapidly. We've become accustomed to these as well. You know, people use Chewy to subscribe to dog food, and they know that you know, every month, some dog food's going to be shipped to their house, and you know, their credit card's going to get hit. That's something that is new to retail. Like, obviously we've had subscriptions in the past, but now you can subscribe to just about anything. If you think about all the stores that were in those shopping malls, all those stores are now e-commerce sites. So all the stores you used to shop at, you can now shop with them still, but do it online. And they're using a lot of the omni-channel tactics as well. So if you maybe you go to Aldo, you find a pair of shoes that you like, you use the website to figure out which retail location has those shoes in stock. Then you can actually go into the store and try the shoes on and decide to buy them there. So these retailers have become very crafty at using the digital experience with the physical in-store experience. It's been great. It's been great for us as consumers. The other thing that we've seen is that major brands like Vans and Apple, Columbia, L'Oreal here, they've all adopted new direct-to-consumer strategies where they're using their website to sell directly to the consumer. Now, obviously that's important. They want to sell to the consumer online. They want those purchases. But I would argue the most important part about these brands having a website is more than ever, they have the opportunity to build a relationship with their customer. The one thing that a website gives you that a physical retail location can't is data, right? You can set up beacons in your retail store and you can track people as they come and go. But if you're L'Oreal, you're not going to set up beacons inside of Walmart, and that's, you know, a location where a lot of your products are sold. But if you have L'Oreal's website or Vans website, for instance, maybe it's anonymous, but you're able to see the behavior and the tactics of your consumers and how they engage with you, what products they're looking at, how much time do they spend on the site? Do they watch videos? Do they read? Do they prefer flipping through pictures before they buy a product? With Vans, you can go to Vans website and you can actually personalize your own shoes and have them made for you and they're shipped to your house. You can actually upload drawings and have them printed onto a pair of Vans shoes and have them shipped to your house. You can't scale experiences like that in physical stores. You might be able to offer that experience in a physical store, but not the way that you can when you're selling online. And I have to say, these brands have done a good job building relationships with customers and maintaining their strength as a business through these new technologies. But it's not just those traditional brands. We've also seen digital native brands start to adopt the direct-to-consumer strategies. When I say digital native brands, what I mean is businesses who have built their business purely on the web. They've only used web technology, right? So maybe you find some of these products in store now, like Native, for instance. Native was started, I think, in 2016, maybe 2018, and it was just an environment conscious brand that created body health and body products, and they only sold online, and they built up their reputation online. They used social media advertising and marketing. They used search engine optimization and search engine marketing tactics to build up their audience and capture their attention. And then they drove them to the site, converted them, and established a relationship with those customers. And it worked well. Within 2 years, they were acquired. I can't remember which brand acquired them, but they were acquired for, if it wasn't hundreds of millions of dollars, it was in the billions. This is a lot of money. And historically, we haven't seen brands grow that fast. So these tools, they provide something new and exciting for these brands, new opportunities. The other thing too is the consumers. Like, for the first time, consumers are really thinking about who they're buying from, and then they're thinking about the decisions that those brands are making. We also see re-commerce taking off. So re-commerce is the idea of consumers selling products that they no longer need, like Reverb selling guitars, for instance. If you have a guitar you don't play today, you can sell it on Reverb. Now, in that case, you as the consumer are selling it through the Reverb platform. If you look at KEH as an example, KEH will buy your old camera equipment from you, and they actually house it in their warehouse. It becomes their inventory, and then they resell those cameras online. Mac of all trades does the same thing with their Mac products. They'll buy back old iPads and make sure they're in great working condition and then resell them online. From a consumer's perspective, it's great because you have a place to sell this old equipment, and you have a place to go and buy very good conditioned equipment for a lesser price than what you would get at brand new. Those that are environmentally conscious, they love this, right? Because the idea of reusing these electronics as much as possible is very attractive to them. And then the last trend I'll talk about is social commerce. So all these brands that I talked about today, whether it's Walmart or it's one of those stores from the mall, or it's new brands, new digital native brands, they're all adopting new social commerce tactics to reach their customers. Um, Things like live selling are becoming popular. Live selling is when an influencer is essentially presenting to an audience, talking about a particular product, and then making it possible for them to sell that product to the consumer right there in the live shopping experience. It's like QVC, but it's online. Instagram and TikTok, they're both experimenting with shopping carts inside their system. I've heard TikTok's shopping carts are taking off like crazy. The reason that I bring this up is because the disruption is not going to slow down. It's just going to continue. Marketers are amazing at finding creative ways to reach customers and sell products to them. And as soon as an idea becomes old and stale, like the live shopping, for instance, this may be hot for the next year, but eventually it just becomes a norm. Marketers are out looking for the next big idea in order to reach those customers. And from my perspective, if I'm thinking about building a back office business management solution, I have to be accepting of the fact that I'm serving an industry that's in constant flux and constant change. And, you know, every week I'm going to hear about a new idea for how to sell products or how to reach customers. And that is one of the powerful things about Acumatica. It goes back to the APIs. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one last thing I wanted to share with you, retail stores. So a lot of people are going to ask, if all these things are happening in the digital space, what about retail stores? And the trick for retail stores is optimizing the customer's buying experience, right? Because if you can pull your phone out of your pocket and buy anything you need, why do you need to go to retail stores now? Well, the answer to that question is maybe you want to go to the retail store for an experience. So I have these two examples here. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a French restaurant in New York City, La Mercier, where this restaurant is a mix of a restaurant where you can go and have dinner with your friends and family, but you can also buy any product in the restaurant. So if you're sitting and having your meal and you really love the wine glasses that you're enjoying your wine in, when your server comes back to the table, you can let them know that you like the wine glasses a lot. And at the end of the meal, they'll bring you the wine glasses. They'll just add it to your tab and you walk out with the wine glasses. Maybe you like the dining room table that you're sitting at. Maybe the chairs are really comfortable and you know they would go with your decor at home. You can buy that dining room table in the restaurant, have it shipped to your house. Another example of that is Perch. Perch is a home goods store where they sell furniture and appliances and everything that you need for your home. And they will actually allow you to set up an appointment where you can come in, like this picture here where the shower heads are being tested. You can set up an appointment, go into Perch, and you can test out all the different shower heads to see which one you prefer. And that might sound a little funny, but think about it. As a buyer, if you're looking at shower heads on Amazon.com, for instance, you have no idea what that shower head's going to be like. Is the water pressure going to be strong enough? How much water is actually coming through the shower head? A retailer using this new strategy is brilliant because it gets people into their stores, and it gives them the opportunity to try these products before they go home. And just think about, I just want you to think about what this is going to do to the B2B sales strategies, right? In the future, if you have all these consumers that are adopting these new ways of buying things, those consumers go to work and they buy things for their job. And maybe they're buying paper towels for the kitchen. Maybe they're buying equipment for the warehouse. And they're going to expect the buying experience to be as easy in a business landscape as it is in a retail landscape. And that is coming. Some would say it's already here. The wave is definitely swelling. So how does Acumatica help in this landscape? Well, like I said before, the retailers are really focused on that customer experience. It's all the front office. We are focused on the back office. I'll just leave you with this. Acumatica helps retailers optimize their efficiencies. And by optimizing your efficiencies, becoming more automated, what you're doing is you're freeing up a lot of time that you can reinvest into your creative initiatives. And those creative initiatives are what make it possible for you to create optimal customer experiences, more customer engagement, more customer experiences, more customer purchases. By making the back office easier and more fluid, your front office will benefit. And I'm not saying that it's not a marketing slogan. I got that information from our customers. Our customers, they're actually surprised when they first told me this, when I first started hearing it. They said, I never expected the ERP to help me optimize customer experiences. That's what sent me down this path. And we do this by, number one, building everything that's great inside of Acumatica, the order management, financials, fulfillment, and so on. But we also build native integrations with these front office solutions. So Shopify, BigCommerce, Amazon, we have native integrations for these platforms. And we have a team that focuses solely on getting data to flow back and forth properly, making it flexible, giving you no-code tools to adjust the data flow and map data however you like. In addition to these three integrations, we have an entire network of tech partners who build their own integrations with Acumatica. And that fits under e-commerce platforms, POS systems, iPaaS integrator platforms, payment solutions, shipping, everything that you see here. And this is just a sample. You can go to acumatica.com onto the marketplace. You'll find even more technology partners that we have who offer integrations to Acumatica directly as well. Because we have such a strong API, we even have a connector framework that these companies can use to integrate with us. And that super modern API is what makes it possible for them to build these thorough integrations. And I'm telling you, the thorough integrations are what businesses need to be able to scale rapidly. I'm going to leave you with that today. I appreciate it. If there are any questions in the Q&A here, I'll be happy to get back to you. Thanks for your time today.